even think about it?
I
Sorry.
didn't. Hey guys.
Hello.
Welcome back.
We're
We're like kind of pre-talking about what we were going to talk for this episode.
right, which was last episode we were like, let's talk about the idea of, okay, so I think I should start with this. I think that every mom out there has thought about, or it's crossed your mind at some point that's like, damn, if I didn't have these damn kids, who would I have been?
And I was, when we ended last week, I was like, Eddie, you without kids, you'd be a slut.
Well,
You'd
this
probably
one-
live somewhere else. I was like, dude, I would definitely live in a different state right now. I would be
Yeah.
like somewhere way up in the US by now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think one, like those thoughts are totally normal because, and I hate when people are like, well, you know, being a mom should be your life. Being a mom is a big part of your life, a big part of your life, but it can't take away from who you are. You know what I mean? And on those days where maybe you feel like all you are as a mom, like your whole identity, like you said earlier, like, do I stink? When you're like, I stink. Everything's a fucking mess.
I was like, I just got off of like cleaning this Airbnb and I feel like I stink. And she was like,
you don't
you
stink.
smell the same. And she goes like, I think it's because you're not ethnic.
I was like, I just truly, like me, I have bad BO.
But to me, it smells like I smell.
I don't smell you at all. Either that or my nose is broken. Actually, no, I take that back. Because I have, like, in the gym, like, if I'm in the gym working out, there have been people who come by me and I'm like, is it me? Is it me or is it you? And I'm nicely like,
That
like,
BO though. But...
yeah, I can't. I'm like, I don't know what it is. But no, I was asking Brittany, I was like, have you even thought about this? Because last episode, you're like, I would get a tummy tuck. I'm like, you would not need a tummy tuck. Man. But no, I think I would definitely be less stressed. But like you said, I would not be with the label crazy. It's not that I'm crazy. I'm just always at my breaking point because I'm always the one who's like explaining things, leading things, delegating
doing
things.
The most.
And,
for the kids.
And it's like no one ever fucking hears me. All my instructions fall on deaf ears.
Oh yeah, same.
All of them.
It's just like, hey, do X, Y, and Z. And then it's like, oh, well, the kids didn't follow that. They're children. That's why I put you in charge of X, Y, and Z and not the children.
Right. Or even too, it's just like I'll tell Cam because he's 11, so I feel like he's old enough. I'm like, get all your clothes, put it downstairs. Even the other day, this is a perfect example. After they had their sleepover, the living room was wrecked, which was totally fine. I expected it. But he left one sheet. And I said, pick up that sheet and just put it in the washer. I'll start it. But put it in the washer, put it in the laundry room so I can start it with other stuff later. My sister is drying her clean blankets. What does he do? He throws it in the dryer with the clean blankets. So then she's pissed because she has to rewash the blankets. She's like, Elena, Campbell. And I'm like, okay, I hear you and I understand your frustration. But also, I'm annoyed now because I gave him clear instructions. I stopped what I was doing. I looked at him and I said, get that gray sheet that is dirty because you guys brought down. Throw it in the washer because I will start it. I'll put all the soap and stuff in and just put it in there when I start a load.
No, I made sure Friday morning that like Landon picked up all the trash.
Oh,
I
yeah.
made him pick up all the cups and the Gatorade bottles. And then like any cups they had used for their hot chocolate and shit, I made him put them in in your sink and shit like that. I was just like, no. Like, son, if you were invited somewhere, especially overnight, you clean up after you.
He did. He helped
clean up. I know, but at first he was like, "For what?" I was like, "You do, bro." I was like, "Cause I said so."
Yeah, that's it. Those are my rules. Sorry.
That's it. Yep.
You know what's funny? I'm like, what would our Halloween party have looked like? Kidless Eddie and Brittany. Bitch, kid free.
I would have probably been like the skimpy apron.
I know.
And instead, I just wore a shirt and shorts. But like,
I wore like a witch dress. A witch dress.
Oh, girl, you look so fun. Everybody was like, damn, Eddie be killing it. I was like, I know. Look at that sexy.
I guess I was just like, whatever. I'll throw something out.
Not my co-host.
I wouldn't have you argued with Domino's. They made us wait 2 hours for pizza. I mean, granted, they gave it to us for free.
Oh, really?
It was 100% free, and I still got my points off of it. But I ordered at 5:30, and we got that pizza at 7:30. 7:30. So I was like, when you guys had pulled up, the pizza had maybe been there only 20 minutes. Like,
I was about to say, you were like, oh, I'm sorry, or came in and said, hey, I'm sorry if the pizza's cold. I was like, actually, it's pretty fucking lukewarm.
Because they had to do the whole order again. They gave my name, obviously, is a boy's name. They assumed Cayman, because he was nice enough to go pick it up, was Eddie, but he didn't give the last name. So they just gave it to another Eddie who didn't say anything because he got like 10 pizzas. And he was like, okay. And then the lady was like, what's the last name? And he was like, Garza. And she was like, we gave it away. And she was like, we have to remake your order. And she said he came and said she just handed him the pizza and he hadn't paid. He was like, did you pay? I said, no. He was like, yeah, she probably knew. Like 2 hours later,
we
fucked up bad. And we gave somebody a ton of pizza who probably didn't even pay for that much. So
that's true. But a Halloween party without kids, I've been there before. It's spicy nice. It's spicy nice. It's sometimes like it's like Four Loko Mad Dog 2020 vibes. You know, high 2020. School. Yeah, Mad Dog 2020. You never had that shit?
Oh my god! I thought you're like the blue in the glass.
Yes.
I know. I just got nauseous thinking about it.
It was like $2, and it got you fucked.
It was so
just
cheap.
like the Four Loko.
You
Four Loko with $2. Yes, and they got you fucked up, and you were just like, all right, I got fucked up all $4. Like,
damn, I miss those days.
Me also, too.
I'd be dying.
$80,000 to get us drunk. You're like, all right, I'm just going home anyways. I'm gonna go to bed.
And my cheap ass never wants to spend the money at the bar. I'm like, Brittany's like, are you gonna get another drink? I'm like, no.
And this bitch literally is like, I'm trying to see how much a lemon drop is, and I'm trying to see how much this drink is. I'm like,
they don't put the prices.
They don't.
Sometimes I'll get a drink that I'm like, okay, like it's just like a Jameson and Sprite.
Fucking
like
$10. Yeah, I'm like, oh, doom. I'm like, ooh.
And then Brittany gets mad when guys are like, well, can we get y'all free drinks? And she's like, tell them. I'm like, no, because they're gonna want something from us. And sure enough, they're like, well, dance with us. I'm like, see, it's your fault.
Sorry. I'm like, I was just trying to get free drinks
and free tattoos.
It works for It does work for a while, and then like on that last round when they're like, grind on me. What are you doing later? I'm like, bro, I have 2 kids. I'm going home, and this is gonna be me. So if you don't want to see that shit, you go to your house.
And see, I don't even want to have that conversation. So it's funny because you're like,
oh, I have a million times. I'm like, I'm going home. They'll be like, where are you going after this? Home.
You say that kidless Eddie would be a slut, perhaps, but I think you also know that I always have like a very low tolerance of stupid men. Last time we went out, these men on
the cruise.
No, when I literally was overstimulated by them both talking to me, and I like,
oh yeah, and you scratched your face.
I scratched myself.
Hey, let's go. I was like, hey, let me take you home. Let me grab my kids from your house, because like you seemed hella annoyed.
I was annoyed with them. They were both talking to me. They both were
they were like this.
Even now, I'm like, I don't know if I would be that way.
Stressed.
I think it was overstimulating me.
It really was.
It was. I was like, you guys are both talking. And honestly, they got us a free shot of tequila, which was disgusting. It was like the cheapest.
I didn't take it. I gave it to y'all.
And I ended up taking, story time. So we go Friday the 13th for tattoos. This is also when we ran into one of our listeners, Bonita, who was so sweet. She was amazing. So sweet. She was the highlight of that night. If you're listening, girl, you were the best thing that happened.
And I actually, since then, I've worn my Simpsons earrings at least 10 times.
Oh, I wore mine too. The ones that I got from her on Halloween.
Because I keep getting so many compliments, and people are like, where'd you get those? I was like, oh, my friend, like, here's her Instagram. This is where I got them from.
Stuff.
But I've literally worn them at least 10 times since then. And that was, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Not even? Yeah.
Yeah. So we go out to this bar because they are advertising that they're going to do Friday the 13th pop-up tattoos. And God bless, it was like one tattoo artist who's extremely talented, and she was just inundated with the amount of people that showed up.
Back to back.
She was back to back. So they couldn't even guarantee. So they're like, if you want to get on the list and wait, you can wait. And that's what we chose to do. But as we're waiting, this gentleman approaches me and is like, I want to dance with you. And I'm like, I'm not interested. And he's like, what does it take for me to dance with you? And
because I have a boyfriend.
And he's like, I know the tattoo artist. I'll get you and your friends free tattoos. I
forgot about that shit.
That's how, yes.
Because I go, oh, she has a boyfriend.
So then I'm like, okay, you know the tattoo artist? Thinking there's no way this man knows a tattoo artist. He comes out with a tattoo artist's fiance and is like, tell her, because he only speaks Spanish. And he's like, yeah, like he's I guess he was like the nephew or uncle or something. I think the tattoo artist fiance was the nephew and he was the uncle because he was older. But he basically did know her. And I was like, fuck, of all the chances. I was like, damn it.
Damn
I was like, I thought he was just going to lie and be like, okay, she called my bluff. I'll leave.
Let's leave.
Yeah. He was like, nah, I really know her. But the fiance was like, even if we wanted to, we couldn't. Like, we have people who have already paid who are still waiting, and you guys haven't even paid. Like, I was like, it's fine. We kind of figured. So then the guy's like, you told me you would dance with me if I got, the tattoo guy to come talk to you.
You didn't get
I'm
us
like,
the tattoo,
no.
Bro.
It was a tattoo, not to talk to them. I could have walked up there and asked that myself. So then he has 2 friends with him, and they're like, come over with all these beers. Sure.
But my thing is I don't speak Spanish. So they are only heavily bothering Eddie because Eddie knows Spanish. And to me, they're like...
unfortunately, I gave that information away.
And I'm like... Courtney, are you having a good time? Like, I'm like, if I don't know what the fuck you're saying, I'm not going to respond. But Eddie's like... But I see Eddie in the corner going like this. I was like, hey, boo, come here. And I grabbed her arm. I was like, nah, we're done.
Yeah.
And I told both of them, I was like, done. No comprende, no mas.
Well, when they brought over the shots, he was like, your friends aren't even drinking our shots. Done. And I looked at him in the eyes and I grabbed both tequila shots and I went, and I said, there, I drank them. Goodbye.
Yeah, I was like, no mas, we're out. Like, and we moved.
That was 100%. It. Yeah, we had to move.
We were like, nope.
We had to move. So that's what I'm like, if I was kid-free, I honestly think if I was kid-free, Brittany, I'd be like, let's say you were kid-free in this universe too, this beautiful make-believe universe where we're both kid-free. I think I'd just be with y'all all the time. Like doing shit, traveling, like just having fun, like.
Literally, but that night would have even been a lot different because she could have gone past 12 o'clock, but me and you knew that we had both of our kids.
That's true.
With the sitter. And it was already midnight. We were like, okay.
We got to go.
We got to go. Like, yeah. But if we were kidless, we'd be like, we can wait till 3.
Yeah, we'll wait until you're ready.
Waiting.
Yeah.
But we had to scratch our names because we couldn't wait that long. Like, we had kids waiting at home who were already asleep. We had to carry to bed. Like, no, we're not doing that.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think
it's a non-school night still. Like, it's midnight.
Yeah. I think, though, if it was like that, like, I think I'd really be, honestly, so when I had Cam, I wasn't in a headspace to where I didn't even know if I wanted kids. And if I did have kids, it would have been very, very late in life. Like I may have just started like barely now in my 30s because just my home life was very chaotic growing up. And that spilled into my high school years. So I originally went to A&M Commerce, which is 6 hours away from here. And I did that on purpose. I was like...
The distance brings you peace sometimes.
Oh my God.
100%.
The only thing that was hard for me was my sister was still here and she was still trying to graduate high school and she would talk to me daily, text me and be like, I miss you, come home. And it was hard to be like, I love you.
Like, I'm by myself here now.
Right.
Like just, without you.
Right, without you. And like
I get that.
We went through those struggles together. So she was like, now I'm just truly alone because we don't have any other siblings. And so that was the only struggle. But I mean, honestly, probably I would have told Starwell after she graduated, come with me to Dallas. Because I was just trying to be somewhere where, one, I had no family. I had family in San Antonio, Austin, whatever. But I was like, I have no family at the time in Dallas. And like, I know no one there. And I'm just going to start like my life. And I was just going to be focused on my career. And if my sister chose to live with me after graduation, great. I would have pretty much been done with college at that point too, 2.5 years in. So it's
but she had to get horny on Thanksgiving break.
And I had, but it was the best thing that happened.
With her son.
In my delusional world,
girl, she came home Thanksgiving break and she's like, I'm feeling some type of way. I'm gonna fuck my ex, and boom, baby.
Yep, that was it. It was the best thing that happened. But in this delusional world, I would have probably still been in Dallas.
When you say
my Delulu mind and my Delulu mind,
my Delulu mind,
we're always been in Dallas.
That's true.
I would have been in Dallas. I think you would have lived in a different state.
I mean, dude, totally. So like whenever Amanda and I got married and stuff, and then the military moved her to New Mexico, my whole family and my friends were like, they were like, I can't believe you're about to move, blah, 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 blah. And then I go to New Mexico and I fucking found myself because I had nobody. So you don't really have a choice. You're like, okay, I can either dwell in this shit or I can like make the best of it. And instead, I got in with a really great group of dentistry people over there like I had here. And then they literally became my family.
Yeah.
And so for 4 years, I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. The only thing I think that I was like really yearning for is mine and Brianna's relationship. Because we
She's like
had,
your sister.
yes, because we
Yeah.
had always been extremely fucking close. And like, I, me being away for that long, it's just like, I hate this. Like, when are you going to move
Kind of how
back?
Star was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really sucked. But at the same time, like, I found out that I can do this on my own. I literally moved out there without knowing anybody except for my spouse. Within
Oh
2
yeah.
years, I had a kid. Still another year and a half later, then me and my kid finally moved back to Texas, but like I literally raised him on my own out there.
Right.
And I had to find a nanny who I trusted. Her name is Miss Patsy. She's the most amazing person I've ever met in my life, like grandma wise. And you just have to like breathe deep and be like, you know what, I can do this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think
But I would definitely live in Colorado right now if I didn't have kids.
I think I couldn't
100%.
see you in the state.
Yeah, I can't be in Texas. I love it so much, but it pisses me off at the same time.
See, and for me,
I have too much attachment.
yeah. And I feel you
like
on
it.
like starting because when I went to commerce, I was afraid no one from my high school went there. So I knew
Mhm.
absolutely no one, which is why I decided to rush my sorority. And you met Vanessa and Kelly. They went on the cruise with us. That's family to me. Like we've been friends now since 2012, so over 10 years. And we just got close.
And I hate when my family's like, I don't understand why you hang out with your friends so much. I'm like, because when I felt like y'all were too judgy, guess who
Right.
wasn't? My friends. Like, my
Right.
friends were like, hey, why are you sad? Oh, because X, Y, and Z. What can I do for you? It wasn't
Right.
that, well, you should have did this and you should have done that. And I'm like, no. But me as a mom now, I feel like I respect myself a lot more.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because before, I would just be like, fuck it, I'll do whatever. All the dares. I would never
Oh,
turn down a dare, girl. I did every dare, everything. But like with having kids, when people are like, hey, let's go do, I'm like, actually, that doesn't sound very peaceful to my kids and I. Like, so
I
just no.
I
I'm not
agree.
doing it.
I always say that
Yeah.
Cam saved me because as much as I was like doing well, I was in my sorority and I was, doing well in college grade wise, I was also like very lost. I think my plan to just like cut off my past completely and just start new was not healthy. Like you don't grow from that. You don't grow from just severing a limb and saying, I'm a grow a new arm. No, like if your arm is hurt and injured, like physically if your arm and injured, you have to
You have
mend it,
to,
tend
yeah,
it.
you have
Yes.
to have surgery
Right.
or like getting a whole
Care
fucking
for it
face for like 3 months of it like being
to
protected
really
and
be the way it's supposed
yes.
to be. And
Yep.
see, I was doing the
Yeah.
opposite. I was like, I will cut off the limb and I will grow a new one. And now hindsight, that's not the way it works. And I was just lost and I was making some decisions towards when I did get pregnant with Camden that I was like, what is going on? Also, college for me was just like during the time, like you said, where it was like, those were the best times because phones were very new. Social media was in its infancy. Like I think I had maybe an Instagram.
Oh,
I
even
I
my
didn't have
junior
like a
year of high
lot.
school, I still saw like a junior year of high school thing that my parents had of mine where you still like I did this for art class. I did this portrait of a massive butterfly and like you also had to write a page about like why you chose that insect, what it's about, blah blah blah. And I literally had to go to the library
Right, to look up that shit.
because
Yeah.
like
The
Google
internet
wouldn't bring
wasn't
there
big.
wasn't Google wasn't there.
Right.
Google
You had
didn't
like
happen
the
for like 6 years later because I'm three
yeah.
years older than you. Three
Well,
years older than
3
you.
years older, but even then
Yeah,
search engines were in their
that was
infancy.
not a thing.
Right,
It
like
was
you
still
could
dial
search
up.
yeah. You could search like a
Yeah, but
generic
it shows how I literally had to put the book that I found
your
at the library.
sightings.
Yes, remember I had to put the
Yep.
book that I found, what
What page,
chapters,
what
what
chapter,
page,
yep.
and be
Who
like,
wrote
this is
it?
why I did this. Yeah, it literally you had to.
I
I'll
wonder
never
if kids
forget
even
that.
know
How
how to
you
do
had
a
to write
works
the
cited
book.
page. Probably not.
Well, they didn't even do cursive anymore.
No, they don't do cursive.
That was one of the number one things that we had to learn in English classes. You had to learn, or in reading and writing English, like you had to learn to write cursive. And so now, even like if I'm pissed and I'm writing something down, it's half regular, half cursive.
I'm dead.
And people are like, "What's going on?" I was like, I was talking in English and Spanish at the same time. Like
crosswires.
Yeah, it's literally like Spanglish, but like because I'm mad. So I'm like, but it literally like sometimes my letters connect and sometimes they don't. And I'm just like,
and see, that's what I'm saying. Like I totally hear you because it was like true partying back then. Like there was no real internet. So if you went to a party, like
nobody knew where you were.
No one knew where you were. Like no one knew who you were. Like no one was documenting things. But it also made it dangerous for me because that was like, I always like tell Cam, I'm like, you'll just never have the experience of like going to the club like I did, where it's like you go, it's hot, it's sweaty, you're dancing, you're drinking, and that's it. Like no one was ever on their phones. Phones weren't really a big thing.
There was no phones, girl.
Bitch, I still remember
and this is her at clubs, me at bonfires. Like I go to bonfires out in the middle of fucking nowhere, right? And then you're just like, I hope I ever ride home because you don't have no
There's
phone.
no Uber at that time.
No, there's no Uber. You have no cell phone, nothing. And to explain that to my kids are like,
they could never.
What? And I'm like, no, you're lucky because now I will track your ass and I'll find you at that bonfire at that club and I will be there partying with you and take your ass home. Thank you.
Come here.
Come here. No, look.
Yeah, the real men. Yeah. Exactly. But like, so that's what I'm saying. I think like when I think of that, I always start with like all the like Delulu stuff. Like, man, I wouldn't have like my boobs would be the same size. Or yeah, like I wouldn't
talking about that. We were like, our boobs wouldn't be so saggy. Yeah. Like the right one wouldn't be more up than the left one.
Yeah, like my boobs would be, they were nice pre-babies.
Sure. Mine
they were nice. And it's like, I wouldn't have like the loose skin. There's so many things I'm like, ooh, and have more time with my girls. And then reality hits where you're like, oh, I probably would have been in Colorado. And the reason why we reconnected was because I work with Courtney, because we both provide for our kids. So yeah. God put us back in each other's path. And then I'm like, then I feel unfulfilled.
I'm like, ooh, there's a reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only person the only couple people that I didn't meet out of having kids is both Brianna's and Courtney. So like that was my like high school, like me and Brianna graduated together. Brianna and Courtney were a little bit younger than us. Yeah. And then they just like stuck around because I was really cool with Courtney's husband. And so at the same time though, I'm like, some days where I feel like I just don't want to exist. My kids are like, hey mom, you look so beautiful today.
You have purpose.
And I just love you. And like this morning when I went to go work, I drove off and they were like, Landon goes,
oh, my heart.
I was like, of course. He grabs my hand and walks me to the car. Sit in the back. I love you, bud. I'm sorry I have to go to work today. Gave me a kiss and I'm like, this is my purpose. Yeah. Like, this is why I
had kids.
Struggle all day, every day. It's for my kids. And like, yeah, if I didn't have them, I would have a fuck ton of money.
Amen. I'm like, I struggle because of those two little
I was like
crotch monsters.
I would have so much money. But at the same time, I would feel like I don't really have a reason.
Where do I go? Yeah.
What is my purpose? Yeah. Every day I wake up at 6 a.m. because I know my kids are on me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I get myself ready. I get them ready. Like, that is my purpose.
Yeah. There's so many different things that go into, like I said, your mind as a mom, probably in those moments where you're overstimulated, not eating enough, not sleeping.
Sorry.
I know,
but at the same time,
and then you start to
also I love it.
Right. You start, of course, with the fantasy. Is the grass greener on the other side? Yeah. I would have been with even boobs. I would have been going out. I would have been traveling more. I would have had more money.
I wouldn't have saggy skin.
Right. But then reality hits and you're like, I also wouldn't have met half the women or people I know.
Literally.
I know for me personally too, like aside from you guys, but my other friend group, like we connected, because we worked together, but we had kids.
Yep.
And those bonds, I'm like, those bonds are so hard to, like, I'm like, they know. I always joke with y'all. I'm like, if you need me, I'll show up. I'll show up with my kids, but I'll show up. I tell everyone that if you're my friend and I love you, I'll show up. Best believe I'm gonna have my kids. If you're like, I need you and it's 4 a.m., I'm like, boys, get dressed.
Yeah, literally. Me too. I'm like, hey, and I literally this morning, I like grabbed Harper's legs and I pulled her out of the bed. I was like, bro, I was like, we gotta go because I cannot sleep. Like so we need to go. And she was just like, okay. But I like jerked her ass. But you know what you remind me of? Have you ever heard that Gretchen Wilson song, Redneck Woman?
Yeah, because I'm a redneck.
Got a baby on my head. That's you with Jed. She's like, we're here. What needs to happen?
Right.
I'm like,
literally. And that's it too. Like, even when the boys, like, we were joking about Halloween, like, what if it was kid free? But okay, so I don't even think I told you this. So, like, I helped them bring the mattress down. I'm like, what do y'all need? I made them a little snack basket so they wouldn't be digging through the pantry looking for shit. I'm like,
thank God.
all the snacks you guys want are right here. You guys have drinks, you have cups. Like, what else do you need? Went upstairs, showered, and I guess they thought I was, like, gonna go to bed. So I come down. I'm like, I'm gonna chill with y'all for a bit because my hair's wet. I'm just gonna let it dry. And they're kind of like, oh, fuck, like looking at me. And I'm looking at them like, why? Why don't y'all want me down here? Yeah. Exactly. So Cam was like, I'm gonna tell you something, but you can't be mad. I was like,
oh, fuck.
Okay, tell me. He's like, we were hungry, which I don't even know how they're hungry. They so much. He goes, so I ordered us Wingstop. I door dashed it. He was like, but I ordered it on my own card because he came and gave him a Cash App card, his dad, that he puts money on for him.
I was wondering why when I came in on Friday morning, I saw Wingstop all over the table and in the room. And I was like, bro, we had pizza last night.
Camden ordered for the boys. I was like, you know what? I'm not mad, but bro, you have to tell me stuff like that.
Wingstop delivers that late?
No, DoorDash. So imagine we live in the boonies, y'all.
I was about to say, she lives on 2 acres, like out in the middle of fucking nowhere in Kyle, like almost in a Niederwald. Like
4 middle schoolers would have just ran to this man's car and been like, oh, for Camden. And ran off, and he would have been like, what the fuck just happened? Who is in charge of these kids?
That's just like Allison when she was 3. Dude, Mr. Gaddies came and knocked on my parents' front door, and they were like, he ordered a large pepperoni pizza. My mom was like, no. And Allie goes, I did. And my mom was shook. She told the people of my parents' house line, because there was no cell phones. So she told them the landline number, the address, my mom's first and last name, and everything. Was like, my mom will pay you when you get here. She was 3, girl. My mom was shook, but also crying, laughing at the same time. I was like, she was like, God damn it, that shit was funny.
Did you pay for it?
Funny. Yeah. Paid for it too. That's just hilarious. That a 3-year-old.
And so they all sit down, and then like I'm like, let me have a wing.
Eat Wingstop. So.
He had a few. They ordered him like fries, but they ordered him like just plain boneless.
Oh, tender. Okay,
nuggets.
I was about to say, if it's plain, he will.
Yeah, so he ate that. They ordered him like 3 or 4 of them.
Sweet.
But I was like, I'm deceased, and I was like, well, can I have a wing? And then one of Camden's little friend goes, I told you if you gave her some, she wouldn't be upset. I was like, and I'm just
Moms are forbidden by food. Okay,
I was like, parent tax, and I just like got some fries and wings, and I was like,
me digging in all the kids' fucking Halloween candy. I was like, mom tax. I'm eating all the Snickers land, and that's my like, that's my favorite.
Sorry.
Sorry about it.
But even in that chaos, I'm like, because I always joke too now, like anyone who knows me probably knows I really enjoy like having the kids. Yeah. Truly. And if I love your kids, you know, because I love them like they're my own, I'm going to yell at them like they're my own. I'm going to get after
in front of them. But they're going to be fed, loved, taken care of.
All of it.
Yep. They're going to get maybe a little bit of sleep, but the next day they're going to be in a badass mood, like a great mood.
Yeah. Like, and even when I was making breakfast.
No regrets.
Yeah, no regrets. When I was making breakfast from the next morning, I just love doing that and tending to them and asking what else they need. I just loved it. And it's like those moments where I'm like, you know what? I couldn't imagine. What would I do with my life?
That's what I'm saying. I was like, when people were like, what's your hobbies? I was like, before we started this podcast, I literally had no risk. Anytime I was like dating around and everybody's like, so what's your hobbies? I'm like,
What do you do for fun? You're like trying to think of things that you do. You're like,
I don't. No, I literally don't. I was like, well, every couple of months, me and my girls get together and like have a mom's night out, and people would be like,
so it totals to probably like once every quarter, 4 times a year we go.
4 times a year. I was just like, but they'd be like, no.
No, yeah, that's not a hobby. No. That's you really planning an escape. That's an escape plan. That's you all getting together and saying,
Mom, can you watch the Hood Rats? And my mom will.
Watch the Hood Rats with their Walmart feet.
Oh my God, girl, that
you
Walmart
got me
feet
saying
killing me.
Walmart.
My mom, it's a Sherry Wimberly thing for sure. She'd be like, oh my God, wash them.
Walmart feet.
You have Walmart feet. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? If you walk around Walmart barefoot, your feet's black like how they are right now. I'm like, Mom, you're so awesome.
And that's what I'm saying. I think it's normal for moms to experience that like quick flash. It's almost like how they say when you die, it flashes before your eyes. Like when we're like losing it, we're like, all I wanted was for you to blah, 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 blah. And the kids are like, I'm sorry. You like have that flash of like, you like frolicking in the club, like kidless, even titties. Your hair's long, no gray hairs. And then like, you're like, God, things would be great.
People are hitting on you. Yeah. You're like, I feel sexy.
You're like, this is,
oh my God.
You can sleep in the next day hungover. You don't have someone at 6 a.m. Still like, I'm hungry.
Bro, Harper Saturday morning at like 7:30, all I feel is a jerk on my leg. And I'm like, what the fuck? She's like, I'm hungry. I was like, bro, you better figure the fuck out. I was like,
crying.
Don't ever jerking my foot. I will knock your. I am so surprised that I didn't kick her donkey kick
as a reflex. In the face.
No, because I usually would have. She was like, jerk the fuck out of my leg.
Like,
I was like,
once the kids start doing what you tell them to, and you kind of like extract yourself from the situation, you're like in your couch or on your couch or in your car, and you're like, damn, I feel terrible. I love these kids. They're my, like,
oh my God.
You know what I mean? You're like, I don't want to live that. I don't want my titties even. I don't want to be hit out of the club.
Dude, we love it either way.
You're like,
either way, if our titties are not even, we have loose skin, we still get hit on Mac 10. We went on a cruise, Mac 10, hit on. We don't give a fuck.
And we'll tell them. We're like, we have kids.
We have kids. They're like, oh, I know. I can tell. We're like, you're like, I love me a MILF. You're like, oh shit.
I know, and then
the wrong thing.
Like
the wrong thing.
Those 2 young boys that were like,
boys.
We've dated way
boys.
They were children.
It's true.
They were 18 and 19. They're like, we've dated way older chicks. We're like, what's way older to you? They were like 30-ish. We're like,
and we're definitely older than that.
So we're like,
what?
Okay, you know what? I think it's time for y'all. Where's your babysitter?
Home.
Yeah, go home.
Call your mama, come pick you up.
Someone needs to come get y'all. No. I'm concerned for your safety. But that's what I'm saying. It's crazy to me because I couldn't picture. I have some tea, actually. I have some cheese man. Also, for my listeners, I'm willing to share it. I don't care. You're like, I'm all ears. You're like, I'll be quiet. So,
tell me,
the world is small, y'all. This is why I say, too, like, I've always been a big proponent. The world is small.
Ooh.
So this past weekend, speaking of Halloween parties, my cousin goes to a party for one of her good friends she's a childhood friend. They've been to our house before. I think I've met those kids. And that's what I'm saying. They're like 24 now, but in my mind, they're still kids.
Oh, yeah.
When they were like in middle school, like Cam's age. And she's known him for way longer since they grew up together, went to elementary school and everything together. So went to that party because they all work at we'll say it, the company rhymes with Chesla. Okay. So they all work at Chesla. And
playing chess,
building chess pieces, right? So my ex, Jed's dad also works at Chesla. Everyone works at Chesla pretty much in that area who does that kind of work. And so at this party, she runs into my sister's ex-boyfriend because he also now works at Chesla. Okay. So he hasn't seen her in years because they split 2 years ago. I mean, Star has now moved on. She has an amazing friend. I don't know if they're boyfriend, girlfriend yet, but I think he's amazing. I like him so much. He's the one who's like 6'4". He's super tall.
Yeah, she's like 4'10".
She's like 4'10".
On a good day.
They're like in shoes.
In her boots, she's 5 foot.
Yeah.
Even.
They're cute. And they're a good fit, and that's what it boils down to. So my cousin doesn't really care. She just says hello. Anyways, my point is, it ends up coming out that she drops my name and is like, yeah, that is so-and-so, my cousin's ex. Her sister's Elena. Y'all remember Elena and her sister? And one of the men who's a supervisor at Chesla is like, did you just say Elena? And she's like, yeah, why? And he's like, John's ex-wife? And she's like, oh my God. He knows he works with John. Who?
What?
Bum, bum, bum. Who?
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Who has told him that he regularly sees Jed. That's
2 months ago?
Not even.
I mean, wasn't it like 2.5 months ago?
2 months ago, maybe when the last visit occurred, right? I mean, there's been interaction and exchanges between them that I won't get into, but formally seen him
face to face,
right? Like, no, like actually, like 2.5 months. Yeah. And so, it was kind of funny to me that Jed's dad is over here saying how much he loves him, claims him. That's his son, his one and only. And he lives
2 DNA tests.
He lives for him. And it kind of bothered me because I truly live for my children. And I'm like, when I think of like this fantasy world, right? Where I don't actually live in this fantasy world. We joke about it.
We're just talking.
Mom talking. Even in that fantasy world have mom guilt.
Oh, me too. I'm like, why would you say that, Brittany? Exactly. Like, you love your kid. Like, you would be nothing without your kids. But then I'm like, but also, if I didn't have my kid, like, I would be nothing.
Right.
Like, it's both ways.
Like, this is not a fantasy world. This is real world, real life, who he does not see Jed, ask for 2 DNA tests, like, the works. And he's like, yeah, I love him so much. And I'm like, there's no part of you that feels guilt, feels shame, nothing. I can't even live like that in a fantasy world, but you live like in the real world and then still have the audacity to lie to people and think that the universe, here's what's funny about the universe, that the universe is not going to loop that back
full circle
and smack you on the bottom with it.
That's called karma.
Yep.
We know that because I'm like, it only took you serving him. So it had been like a year since he saw Jed. And it took you serving him for him to forced to have an input in his life. And now he's like, yeah, my ex-baby mama, like, she's just so salty and I just see him any chance I get. I'm like, no,
that's not the case. And I literally told my cousin, I'm like, please clear my name. Please tell these men that he could see Jed whenever he wants if he follows court orders and he's respectful, which he's not, and he never does.
I was about to say, he doesn't even text in the group chat thing.
No, in the app, yeah.
But closing out this episode, we had a lot of fun talks while on the cruise if we were kidless. But also, the only people we thought about the entire time we were on the cruise was our kids.
Yeah, amen.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I 100%. It would be 9:00 at night, and I'm the only single one of all 8 of us. And they would all come in the room and be like, why are you in bed? I'm like, they're like, well, why are you tired? I'm like, well, because I'm used to waking up at like 6 and getting my kids and like doing this and this and this. I'm like, so my body's just used to like laying down by a certain time and like watching a show. They're like, no, you need to come out and party. Like, you're single, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that doesn't matter to me. I am still getting my mom getaway at the same time.
Right.
I don't have, like, that does not mean that I have to entertain people to have a mom getaway. And she was like, I totally see that. I love you, bye. And like, just shuts the door. And she's like, we're going to go eat pizza. I was like, all right. I might go get pizza soon.
I agree. We have, like, again, even in those moments where we're supposed to be away and enjoying ourselves, and
it's hard sometimes.
It's hard because we're still almost like the guilt of like,
you're in mom mode.
You're a mom. Yeah. You miss those kids. Yeah. By the last day, I was like on edge trying to get back to the boys. I was like, I'm ready to go. I want off this ship.
2 days previous, she's like, so how much longer? Okay, what time do we get docked? Okay, blah, blah, blah. So when we get back to our car, how long is the drive?
We get there?
I'm like, God damn it, Eddie. I'm like,
I miss my babies.
I'm like, I understand because I do too, but also like this is our last free couple moments.
And for the next couple months.
For A year.
Probably a year. Yeah.
We try to do at least like one mom getaway a year with all of us.
And we have to plan it, which means technically
it takes a lot of money, time,
planning and saving now.
Right now. I was about to say,
you know what? We're going to, as soon as
we
we hit stop recording, we're going to text the group chat and say, FYI, while you're putting aside Christmas money, start planning for the trip. Where should we go in 2025?
Taiwan. My friend said
let's go to Miami.
No, my friend said if you go to
we should post it on social media.
What you call it about?
Thailand?
Have to text Crystal. Yes. My friend Crystal said
Thailand
it's so
is cheap.
Goddamn cheap.
Getting there is expensive, but being there is cheap.
But we already have passport. So like
I'm getting my passport this year. I don't have it. I'm gonna have to get it with my married last name.
Boo, hate it here.
It is what it is. We're still with someone who in their Delulu mind is like, she still wants me. I'm like, I literally beg for a divorce any chance I get
to fuck alone
please
forever.
Divorce me.
Literally.
Move on. Just co-parent with me, please. All right, y'all.
I love that.
Have a good night.
Guys. Sorry we're all spatic, but it was great.
Right? Catch up later.
Bye.
Bye.